Hello, Libra, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of February 15th through the 21st. And during that time, we have a few different moon energies moving through. We've got the waning crescent from last week, which is a time of stability and calm, a good time for us to be very self-reflective. We're getting ready to see what kind of things we might want to start on the new moon, which comes on the 17th. And that is a fresh start, perfect for new beginnings or to learn a new skill or start new projects, that sort of thing, make new decisions. Then for the rest of the week, it's the waxing crescent energy, and that's a time of heightened senses when we can really start to execute those things that we've just started and begin to live up to our expectations and our intentions for this next cycle that we're going through. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter. So, as always, Libra, please take what resonates today and leave on the table what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: don't let pride get in your way. All right, let's see what the Libra Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot today, my fun weekly reminder for you is that you learn something new this week. It's a great week for that with this new moon energy coming in. And, a lot of times as adults, we just forget to really deep dive and learn something. If you're like me, I feel like I'm learning something every day. We're just in this information age where information's hitting us constantly. But to do a deep dive, I really have to think about that and focus on it. Maybe you're like me, maybe not. But pick, give yourself a little bit of time this week, an hour or two, to either read a book about something that you've been curious about, or, watch a lecture or two, or just do some research. But really, take notes and take the time to think and really just absorb the thing that you're learning. So that's just my fun weekly reminder for you this week. All right, let's get right into this reading here. Libra, February 15th through the 21st. Don't let pride get in your way. And your overall present energy right now, Knight of Swords. So, some sort of new messaging coming in or a thought coming in. This is just something that comes in rapidly. Something that, again, it could just be a new thought, something that's like, oh, I didn't think of that before. And now it's going to take you off in a different direction. Or it could be some messaging. Just make sure that you are taking time to breathe. Look at the horse's face in this card. I always crack up at that because it's just like this knight gets an idea and he's off and running with it. So make sure you take a little time sometimes to think about it. Sometimes you do have to run with the thing, right? Your current situation is the Seven of Pentacles. So this could be an idea that you're getting while you are waiting for some seeds that you need to that are growing. Some things that you've planted in the past, you might be kind of bored. Like you're like, well, I've did this and did that, and what is it I'm doing? And again, we've got this new moon energy, so it could be that you do get an idea this week, and you're going to implement something, and you're off and running, and that's okay. You can do that, and again, it could just be brought on by a little bit of boredom because this seven here indicates that you've planted seeds and there's things that are in the works, but it's not like you're just kind of waiting. You're just kind of waiting around, right? At the root of your situation is the Three of Wands. So this could be that you get an idea to go on a trip. This is often a card of travel, but it is also about new ventures. So, again, this is some new idea, some new thing that you're going to involve yourself with. Again, maybe it's just that you do take off and take a vacation or take a long weekend somewhere. That's very possible. Or just a new venture. It might be different for different Libras. Some of you are taking a trip, some of you are taking a leap into something else completely different. In your recent past here, Knight of Wands. So it could be that you have already taken some action on something that you've been passionate about. Again, this could be this card here of, you've done a thing and you're just kind of waiting for whatever it is for the result to come in, for the reward to come in, and you're just a little bored. So you're kind of looking around like, well, what am I going to do in the meantime? Um, so yeah, keep an eye on that. It's very interesting how all of that's coming together in this reading. What's on your mind this week is another seven here with the Seven of Swords. So many times this card is about being cunning and being very crafty. It could also be a card of theft or hidden agenda. Do you have some sort of hidden agenda when it comes to any of these things? Is there something coming in, that is a new thought, that's some sort of hidden agenda for you? I will say also look up angel number 77 and see if that applies in any way to your week. But don't let pride get in your way with your overall reading. So, let's think about that too. As these new things come in and this new idea, are you just taking off and running? Sometimes I see this card too as, because swords are air energy and they're about communication and ideas. Is this you kind of sneaking off with an idea, kind of running with it without letting everybody know all the information? And that's fine. Maybe, I kind of see that as like a poker player who might, not be showing all of their cards or their poker face, right? That there might be something that you do want to start, but you're kind of keeping it kind of quiet, right? You don't want to show all your cards just yet. What is just ahead of you this week is the Three of Swords. So something that is a little bit disappointing. And maybe that you run off. Like I said, be careful running off too quick. Sometimes you need to take a breath and slow down. It might be something that you run towards very quickly and you're a little disappointed by it. It doesn't work out like you wanted to. We've also now got 2 threes on the table also. So look that up as an angel number. In your advice position this week is the Two of wands here. So, this is, maybe take a little time to think about your future. This is a card of that. It's, you've got some success in your hand, and this could be this that you're kind of waiting. Are you trying to fill in a hole this week because you're bored and you just want to do something? You want to keep some kind of momentum going. Just be very careful. Take a breath before you're making big decisions again, because it could lead to just a little bit of disappointment there. I don't think it's huge, but it's almost like, oh, I have this great idea, and you go do this thing, and then it just fizzles out for you a little bit. So, and if you're okay with that, then go ahead and do it and just see what happens. Because, sometimes it's good just to take a risk as well. What is beyond your control this week is the Lover's card. And of course, we're coming right off of Valentine's Day here. This is the 15th. So maybe you've had a little bit of a renewal of your relationship, which is very nice. Maybe depending on where you are in the stages of a relationship, if you're in one, that you know it's a renewal at the beginning of one, or even middle, or something that you've been for, and if you've been married for a long time, it's just nice. Sometimes those feelings from Valentine's Day kind of flow over into the next few weeks, and everybody has the warm fuzzies for each other, which is nice. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Well, I hope you're trying to avoid some grief and sadness, which is definitely what this card is. So I doubt if that's your secret desire. So I'm sure you are trying to avoid that, and you're being careful. Maybe that's why you're not showing all your cards there. So, I do hope you avoid that for whatever reason. And I'm sure this will make sense to those of you who completely understand the situation here. Whatever it is that you're going for, again, maybe a little bit of disappointment, and if you push it too far, maybe a little bit of grief and sadness about it. In your final outcome here is the Six of Wands. So it looks like in the end, you do come out victorious. So whatever this is, if it's brought on by boredom and you want to take a risk at something, go ahead and do it. Don't let pride get in your way. It looks like you will be successful in the end. You might have to dodge a few things to make sure that you're not disappointed or ending up, with some grief, but it looks like you've got some support here, at least from a relationship. So that's very nice. Okay, let's see what's hidden from you this week. Financial stability with the Four of Pentacles. So, okay, very interesting, because that's hidden from you. And maybe you are waiting for something to come in. So you might be taking risks that are non-financial, and hopefully not, because if stability is kind of hidden from you this week, maybe it's not the week to be taking really big financial risks. So do keep that in mind. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message here for Libra from the Soul Oracle deck, February 15th through the 21st. For Libra. Okay. And the card that comes out for you is to detach from drama. I mean, that could be some of this up here. Like I said, not, just not showing all of your cards, keeping a poker face on. Like, you don't want maybe some certain people to not know exactly what you're up to all the time. And that's fine. Privacy's fine. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Libra, February 15th through the 21st. All right. Okay, and the card that you have here is the card called Abundance. Being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is the secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more will show up. So make sure that you are trusting yourself to handle more. Again, it looks like you're being a little bit of a risk taker. That's not rare for a Libra, right? So that's definitely within your personality traits. If you're going to take some kind of risk, just realize that you may have disappointments. And you may be trying to avoid that, of course, but there might be, some little disappointments that come in here. In the end, again, I do think you're victorious. And even if this victory is just learning a lesson, then lesson learned. You don't succeed at anything if you don't try and sometimes fail. So, Libra, good luck with all of this week. I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below and let me know if anything here resonated with you, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer this for you also. And if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe will help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here for you. So thanks so much, Libra. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.